Self-Care with ABA. Hi, I'm Dr. Jan. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I specialize in the analysis and modification of human behavior using the well-known techniques of ABA or Applied Behavior Analysis. So welcome back to all my subscribers and also welcome for any first-time viewers. I'm really glad you're here. Um, we left off talking about the journey of dealing with self care for people with autism spectrum disorders, or even self care for your own personal struggles. So, today I'm going to talk about using ABA principles or applied behavior analysis principles and techniques for self healing for everyday life. I'm actually going to do a series of different techniques that you can use yourself to help you get over any challenges that you're having in your life or any ongoing struggles that I think ABA would be really, really useful for. So, just a little bit of background. ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, is primarily known for its hugely successful application in treating individuals, and most often children with autism spectrum disorder. But suppose I told you that the core principles and techniques of ABA, which are rooted in behaviorism, can be adapted and applied by anyone and everyone for personal growth and self healing. So let me backtrack a little bit. In its simplest form, ABA focuses on what we describe as observable behaviors that we can look at, that we can measure, and we can see, and how our environment influences the behaviors that we engage in. So, by understanding and strategically modifying environmental factors, things all around us, and using reinforcement techniques, we can cultivate desired behaviors and reduce undesirable behaviors, leading to positive changes and outcomes in our personal lives. So, here's how ABA principles and techniques can be utilized for self healing by what we call neurotypicals. So, as I said before, it's not just for people with autism spectrum disorders. ABA can be applied to any of life's challenges. So, how can we use it exactly? Well, first of all, ABA can be used for goal setting. And by the way, I'm just giving you a brief summary of what we're going to be taking a deep dive into as we go along over the next few sessions. So, for goal setting and self monitoring, we're going to talk about how we can identify specific behaviors or areas you want to improve as an individual, such as, for example, reducing stress, increasing productivity, or just developing healthier habits. We can also use ABA strategies for what we call, and I'm sure you've heard of it, positive reinforcement. And what do we mean by that? So we're going to look at how we can identify meaningful rewards that can motivate you. Everybody is motivated by rewards. We're going to look at how to immediately reinforce desired behaviors that you want to see in yourself and sometimes in others. So how to immediately reinforce desired behaviors and use these rewards to increase the likelihood of desired behaviors happening again and again in your own personal life. We're going to look at how we can use self-management and coping mechanisms and how we can utilize those using ABA techniques. We're going to learn to recognize and label your own emotions to improve your own emotional regulation. We're going to look at triggers that lead to undesirable behaviors and emotional distress. For example, I'm sure you've had situations where you may have kicked off or reacted in a way opposite of the way you really wanted to react. So you want to be able to self-regulate and not go off and, embarrass yourself or let yourself down or hurt somebody else in the process. So we're going to be looking at self-management and coping mechanisms and triggers and how to reduce the impact of those triggers. Importantly, We're going to look at behavior replacement. So you can't just take away a behavior, without replacing it with another behavior. Otherwise, you would leave a void and the old behavior is likely to return. So for behavior replacement, we're going to identify unhealthy or unproductive habits and replace them with positive and healthier alternatives. Importantly, we want to look at some environmental modifications. Excuse me, there's a noise over there. So, very often it's the environment that triggers or causes certain behaviors in our everyday behaviors. How can we rearrange our environment to make desired behaviors more accessible and reduce temptations that trigger unwanted behaviors? For example, if food is your problem, place healthy snacks at eye level in the pantry to encourage healthier eating choices. That's just one broad, vague example. We're going to be looking at consistency and routines in our lives and how these can help us make meaningful changes. We're going to look at how we can establish consistent routines and schedules to promote consistency in desired behaviors. Consistent routines can provide a sense of security for us and reduce anxiety, making it easier to engage in positive habits. So, this is just a quickie, just to give you an overview of what to expect. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Once again, I thank all of my subscribers. I love you. I thank you for your support. And I really hope that I can help you to make some meaningful changes. Secondly, post in the comment sections things that you may be struggling with, things that you feel may be holding you back, things that you'd probably like to improve, or maybe something that you'd just like to hear more about. Post that in the comments. But we're going to be talking a lot. So until next time, be a blessing and be blessed. And may you seldom be stressed. That's it from me, Dr. Jan. Until next time.